What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel for some Dungeon Defenders Awakened and Dungeon Defenders 2 news. As expected, we got a Friday dev stream, a full-blown dev stream today from Chromatic over on Twitch, and we got some good info about Dungeon Defenders Awakened and Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, before I get into anything else, the TLDW for anyone that doesn't want to get through this entire video, that's looking for DD2 news, as I know a lot are expecting it, is update next Wednesday. That would be your full TLDW, and you can start planning for that. Now, hopping into the Dungeon Defenders Awakened news. Now, we did get lots of DDA news earlier this week, finding out that it is going to launch in February 2020 as a Switch-timed console exclusive, meaning that it will launch on Switch and PC in February 2020, and then PS4 and Xbox One at an undetermined time after that. Now, Dungeon Defenders Awakened is going to launch with more maps than the original Dungeon Defenders 1. Now, I know a lot of folks are concerned about, is this a DD1 remake? As far as what we've seen so far, all we've seen is clips from the DD1 maps, and the answer is pretty easy there. I mean, this is a business with a marketing strategy. They're not going to show us the new stuff up front. They're only going to show us the maps we're already familiar with. Now, Chromatic has promised that 50% of these maps that are there right there at launch are going to be brand new maps that we have never gone to before. Now, as we all know, the story with the heroes going back in time, of course there are going to be other maps in them. These maps have been completely remade in Unreal 4. In addition to that, Chromatic has been pretty confident talking about cross-saves the entire discussion of DDA really since the beginning, and they did confirm that cross-saves will 100% be in the game on launch. So no matter what platform you choose to play on, if you choose to move to another platform, you will be playing from the same account, which is just plain awesome. Now, of course, we all know crossplay is a big goal of many companies for the future. Chromatic does want to try to get crossplay into Dungeon Defenders Awakened, however, it is not going to be there at launch. They are hoping to get it there afterwards, though. It was also confirmed that all of the enemies from Nightmare level in Dungeon Defenders 1 will be in Dungeon Defenders Awakened. There will also, in addition to that, be a new enemy type that has not yet been shown. Now hopping right on into the Dungeon Defenders 2 news. Prime Incursions are coming to DD2. Now, what is Prime Incursions? Prime Incursions are higher difficulty versions of the Incursion maps that are currently in Dungeon Defenders 2. These Incursions are going to be divided up into 6 different regions. We all know that there's going to be a weekly update once these updates start, and the first 2 regions in this update is going to come on Wednesday, August 28th. So we're only days away from getting started in the endgame update for Dungeon Defenders 2. These first 2 regions are going to have 3 maps in each one, so we can expect 6 maps total to come on Wednesday to get started, and then every Wednesday after that, until they are all out, we are going to be getting another update that's going to open up a new region. Now, these regions are going to scale in difficulty. The maps will start off at around a floor 30 difficulty, and they will ramp all the way up to difficulties of floors in the 100s. In addition to getting the endgame update here, Chaos 8 shards are going to be unlocked at the vendor. So you will be able to buy any Chaos 8 shards that you want from the vendor with Defender medals or gems. The Chaos 8 incursions are going to have a chance to drop a Chaos 8 amp. As we know right now, the only way to get a Chaos 8 amp is either from a player market, the material vendor, or as a drop in Onslaught mode. Just like in Onslaught, the higher in difficulty you go, the greater the chance of getting an amp. However, when you are at the very top, your chance of getting a Chaos 8 amp is going to be greater than it is in any other place in the game. Currently in Onslaught, the chance to get an amp starts at floor 30, and it goes up to floor 83, where 83 would cap out your maximum drop chance to get one. Now we know that this is still really rare, so playing the highest difficulty, once all of these endgame updates are out to us, is going to give us the greatest chance of just being able to farm Chaos 8 amps. In addition to that, these Prime Incursions are going to have a chance of dropping a fully upgraded 5 of 5 Chaos 8 weapon. Now, these weapons are going to be curated, meaning they're going to have the shot types or weights that Chromatic feels are the preferred shot types and weights. Of course, I will do an analysis of all of that as soon as we get all these weapons. However, the biggest value here, particularly for somebody that's just really breaking into endgame or is still climbing through endgame, is a fully upgraded 5 of 5 Chaos 8 weapon comes at a pretty big cost currently in the game. It's going to require a ton of materials, a ton of gold, or defender medals, and it can be very difficult and not necessarily worth it to even go through and get these Chaos 8 weapons in the current state. However, we're going to get a chance of getting one just naturally from doing these Prime Incursions. Another exciting thing about the Prime Incursions, and something that people really need to take into consideration when comparing these incursions over to the current Onslaught system, is there will be no mutators. So imagine doing floor 50 or floor 100 or wherever you're at with no mutators on the lane. Obviously, that is going to lower the difficulty quite a bit of that lane, meaning that I think we'll be able to focus more on healthier enemies and building in a fashion that's more designed around how you like to build and not taking any mutators into consideration. I know some people really like the mutators. I personally think this is a glorious thing, and I look forward to the opportunity of farming these maps without having to worry about controlled burn, or headstrong, or anything else that could be thrown into that lane on a mutator. Now, they have promised that the last map in the highest difficulty in these incursions, once everything is out, is going to be a big boss fight at the end. They didn't say which boss it is. It's really soon to speculate. I know who I think, or who I hope it is. However, they didn't tell us who it is, but we can count on having a big boss fight at the end. Now remember, there's also other bosses, so depending on how these incursions roll out, if we look through them right now, we've got a boss in the form of the Demon Lord. We've got bosses throughout. We've got the Dawn of the Blood Moon. We've got the Pirate map. I mean, we've got ourselves some bosses in incursions now. I'm really, really looking forward to fighting these mobs and really hoping that these particular maps made the cut and made it in. Now, of course, it just wouldn't be right if I didn't do a little homework for everybody, so I did a little comparison here. I took this screenshot of what was showed on stream, which was the Bling King incursion. Now, we don't know in what difficulty bracket or in what region this Bling King incursion is at. However, we can look and see that Wave 1 enemies are level 19,303. So I went through the Onslaught floors to try to match that up, and Onslaught floor number 110 is the closest I could actually come. Wave 1 enemies in Onslaught floor 110 in a solo group are going to be 19,374. So the Bling King incursion will be comparable to doing floor number 110, but having no mutators. So that is a big benefit as well to people that want to break into these Onslaught floors, or pardon me, these new incursions. Now, remember, the span of difficulty is going to go from like floor 30 into hundreds of floors. This is a very wide span. I think it's going to offer something for most players in the game, and starting off at floor 30, you will be able to break into it shortly after getting yourself to Chaos 7, as floor 30, of course, is a much lower difficulty than, saying, a floor in the hundreds. Now, of course, you know there's got to be a big enchilada. Now, the big enchilada for drops is just awesome. And that is, as you clear each region as they come out, you are going to earn a hyper shard, meaning that you're going to be able to get a second copy of all the hyper shards. Now, this is a one-time thing, so you won't be able to like farm these up and gild them. However, if you've completed Mastery and you complete all of these incursions, you're going to have 2 full sets of hyper shards, which are really going to, it's going to create new builds. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to allow you to use other powerful builds combined with each other with multiple copies of these hyper shards. Now, the hyper shards are not going to drop in the same order as they do in Mastery. So you're not going to be getting that mass destruction right out of the gates for the first one. Maybe. We don't know what the order is yet, but they're not in order like they are in Mastery. They're in an entirely different order altogether. Now that will do it for now. I'm sure I probably missed something. I tried to be as thorough as possible. However, there will be a link down in the description below to the full dev stream where you can head on over there and check it all out for yourself. If there is anything I missed, then by all means leave it down in those comments and we would all appreciate it. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with some more Dungeon Defenders in all its forms. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.